Hudson's Sixth Challenge: The Privileged Position of Business. In a democracy where many interest groups and opinions are heard, a pluralist model of democracy, business stands out as the loudest and most effective of groups. Businesses are represented by around 1,000 trade and commodity organizations devoted to specific groups, such as the National Association of Home Builders. Business interests as a whole are represented by the Chamber of Commerce, the National Association of Manufacturers, and the Business Roundtable, a group made up of around 200 CEOs of the nation's largest corporations. Individual corporations are additionally represented by full-time lobbying staffs devoted to their corporate interests. With such deep pockets, corporations like Microsoft can hire well-connected former staffers from both parties and from every level of elected office. Since the 1980s, corporations, trade associations, and business organizations account for almost 75% of all groups. That's more than labor unions, citizens, and public interest groups. They spend more too. Twice what labor spends on lobbying, and 5 times more than citizen groups. Business can use their network to manufacture support for their special interests. These false grassroots campaigns, or AstroTurf campaigns, create the impression of genuine support among the electorate, and can in fact influence the opinions of the electorate. With the Citizens United ruling, the Supreme Court has made it so that there are no limits to how much corporations can contribute to super PACs. In addition to these corporations having unparalleled access to politicians and to capital, they have unparalleled access to the public. Most of the country's largest news networks are controlled by big business, either indirectly through advertising or directly, such as the NBC network. NBC is owned by General Electric, one of the nation's largest companies. So why is this a problem? Hudson identifies 4 threats from the privileged position of business towards our democracy. With their privilege, all political interest groups are not represented equally. It can be seen at the state level and the national level. Politicians in states will develop policies to create a business-friendly environment, and corporations will have their choice of options to build factories, move headquarters, and to expand operations, whereas other groups have to fight to get any influence in the policy process. Additionally, businesses' power over politicians restricts the range of policies that can even be considered when formulating new policies. And this power undermines an effective democratic citizenry. Finally, business privilege leads to policies that are contrary to the needs and interests of the public. So how do we react? Hudson presents a range of solutions aimed at knocking business off of its privileged position. He argues that public funding of elections is a prerequisite so that politicians do not depend on business interests to get elected. In the past, big business has faced opposition from big government and big labor. In order to curb big business, government and labor would need to become significantly more effective, as they have been in the past. Another option put forward would be to make industry more democratic, to make change to policy and to create new mechanisms for accountability, so that business is responsible for more than just making a profit. It's important to note that not all agree that big business is a threat to our democracy, or that it even has a privileged position. They point to government agencies such as the Environmental Protection Agency, the Occupational Safe and Health Administration, and the Consumer Product Safety Commission, and policies such as progressive tax, a ban on cigarette advertising, and safety standards in automobiles and other industries. That these are proof that business is viewed as privileged only because it is more organized, and that when other interest groups organize, they are able to counteract and overcome big business.